Hello and welcome to today's tutorial on pivot tables. So these quite often get talked about. A lot of people say they can do them and can't. I've seen that in interviews plenty of times. And for some reason they just seem a bit of a mystery to a lot of people. So I just want to show you how easy they are to use, and what a powerful tool they can be in analyzing your data. So I've got here a staffing list. Now, again, the usual thing I say in these things is that this is just a small example. It could be one with hundreds of lines long, and you want to do a bit of basic analysis, like what's my split of male, female, where they are in departments. I just want the data summarized a bit more than it is at the moment, rather than just these lines. So to insert a pivot table, just click somewhere in the data. Go up to this bit here on the tabs on this ribbon, and then insert pivot table. Click, and so you see it automatically highlights your data. Now, if you've got rows, you may have deleted rows or something, just make sure that this in here does cover all the data. Now it says here, choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. So we've pressed new worksheet. If I press that, and then in there in location, I can press there, and when I press OK, it will just create it there, but we'll have it on a new worksheet. So when I press OK, and we got a bit of a wizard here. So it says here, to build a report, choose fields from the pivot table field list. Now, where is our field list? Oh, here it is. Now, quite often that will be to the right of the page as default. So if you highlight this top bit, you can hold the mouse down and drag it if you like. You can make it smaller, you can make it wider. So just depending on what your preferences are, you have it as you wish. So these are, if we go back to our data, these are the column headers, if you like. And what you can do is just drag these in to the different bits. So let's take an easy one. Let's just say I want to see the department going across, and I want to see what the total salary is by that department. So I drag salary then into values, because I wanted to do something with the numbers in that salary. So with ease, I can see that finance is costing me £118,500 in salaries, marketing 66, operations 188. It is much quicker than had you gone, sales, 143,500, 143,500. Even if you use a formula like SUMIF. So if let's say I use SUMIF, which I've covered in another video. So highlight that department, there's the criteria, sum that range. You don't want to do that for every single line. Just using a pivot table, done it pretty much instantly. So let's say I want to add another layer to the analysis. So I can grab sex, so I can say what is the department cost by sex. So I can see in finance 118,500, and the split between female and male is here, 35,000 for women, 83,500 for men, and the same with the other departments. Now what I can do is I've got that as a row. If I click and drag this up to column, see now it's presented it in a slightly different way. So finance, there's the female element, so that's the column, there's the row finance, and there. So it's just a different way of looking at it. Same data, just slightly different presentation. Now I can also, if I want to drag the names in, I can grab the names. And so here I got finance, female, so it's just the one. So Alexander Thomas on 35,000. So that is just a really quick way of summarizing my department, the sex, and the names of my staff. And again, if I drag sex up here, it's presented it, and again, in a slightly different way. So you can go down, see who the females are, go down, see who the men are. So far, so simple. So I just want to explain the filter and what you can do with this value field here. So I can, if I want, let's say I don't want to see male, female all the time. I can drag that across and have it as a report filter. So at the moment, I'm looking at everything. If I click up here, I can say, just show me the female. And so it's kept the department and the name, but I've effectively put a filter on the pivot table. And I can click male, or I can click all. Now you may have more than two, and if you want to select multiple, you just click this thing here, select multiple items, and select the ones you want to filter out. Another useful thing with pivot tables is that you can say, okay, so let's get rid of the name, let's just keep it summarized. I want to know what the average salary is. So before, you may have gone, finance is 118,500. How many are there in finance? So if I do equals count if, which I've done another video, select the range, there's the criteria, so it's 3, so the average is 39,500. But I can either right click here and change value field settings there, or I can go across to my pivot table field, toolbox, value field settings, and I can say, show me the average, 39,500. See, that's just a really simple way of showing the data in a different way, but with minimal effort. Now, I can actually drag in the salary thing multiple times. So if I do that, it shows the sum. Let's just say I'll do it again. So I want to show, and you can drag these around. See, so the average is now the last column. If I click and drag that to the top, it's the first column. Let's keep it at the end. So the first one is sum. Let's say I want to show the count in the second one. So the total salary cost for that department is 118,500. There's 3 of them. There's my average. So, and if I want to get rid of data, I just click and drag out, let go of the mouse, dead easy. So that is, pivot tables. They are surprisingly easy to use. I just want to show you one error, a couple of errors to avoid, so let's delete that. For some reason, sometimes you might get a column header missing. If you try and insert pivot table, it'll give you an error. So every column which has data in that you want to be shown in the pivot table has to have a title. So department, and you can't have blank columns either. If you're like, well, I don't need that data, you delete it. You then try and insert a pivot table. It just won't let you. So make sure you've got your headers. And again, make sure if you got any blank rows or anything, you can manually select the data in this range here. So that's how you do it. Dead easy. So yeah, just have a practice. It's really powerful tool. Just become acquainted with dragging the data around, swapping things around. Salary name, so let's put that in. Playing around with the report filters. And one more thing, you may delete this by mistake, think it's taking up room, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm clicking here, but where's my field list thing to play around with? Easily done. So make sure when you're in here, click on this pivot table tools up the top, go over to the right and show field list. So if you click that, it'll come back where you last closed it. So that's your pivot tables. Play around, and I'll do another video where I show an extension. It's easy to add on graphs and just take the analysis a bit further. So thanks for watching, and if it's helpful, leave a comment. If not, leave a comment as well, and I'll try and do better next time. Thanks.